right, y'all. Good evening. It is Friday night, and it's actually the weekend. I want to say a big shout out to everybody out there tuning in to us right here on the hottest news program tonight. And tonight, we have a very special guest. We got Sheriff Porter Turner, who is with us tonight, who's going to talk to us about Juneteenth celebration that's going to be going on. But not only that, she used to work with Oprah Lee, who they call the grandmother of Juneteenth. And we have Sheriff Porter with us tonight. Good evening. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I am wonderful, and I'm in celebration mode because I love Juneteenth. I remember celebrating with my family when I was growing up, and it was red soda water, and barbecue and baseball, and we just enjoyed the celebration.
I want you to tell the viewers out there, because we got people that's tuning in to us right here, not only in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but also being broadcast in 120 different countries, and we're being broadcast right now in the Manhattan part of New York. So I want you to talk to, because a lot of people in New York don't really know about Juneteenth and what do Juneteenth celebration mean. And we know it happened, in 1865. But kind of give us the history for those who do not know what June 19 is.
Okay, for those that don't know, the General Order number 3 came from General Granger. And it stated the people of Texas informed that in accord with the proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involved the absolute equality and personal rights and the rights of property from former slave masters and slaves, and henceforth existing between them. And they become employed and hired and as laborers. And the free men advised to remain at their present home. They didn't want to really leave, and they could work for wages. And we know that didn't happen. And when this order came down, we didn't receive it for 2.5 years because the Texans slave owners knew that they want their crops in. So they wait till the crops got in, and they General Granger hung it on June 19, 1865. So we had worked 2.5 years after the proclamation.
So let's talk about this, because you say it took 2 years for it to come to the South, right here in Texas.
Yes,
tell us about that.
2.5 years. Yes. Well, they just kept. They didn't tell them. It was like business as usual. And so when General Granger came to Galveston, he posted it on African American church.
Wow.
And that's how we found out.
What does this weekend mean to African America across this country?
Well, first of all, thank God for the grandmother of Juneteenth, Miss Oprah Lee, who continued to work and encourage us to work with her and fight for it to be a federal holiday. And it means that we know that we're free. And so when you're free, you have all the rights and liberties, where when we were slaves, we didn't have them. So
I want you to take us back when you first start working with Oprah Lee, because a lot of people don't know that you, in Texas, they know, in Fort Worth, but talk to the people across the world and across the country. How was it working with Oprah Lee?
She had a vision. I started out with her with Miss Lenora Rolla, who was the director of the Tarrant County Genealogical Historical Society. And I worked with both of them. I even had an opportunity to drive them, because we're talking about over 35 years ago. When I started working with them, I was young. I'm young, much younger than I am now. And I was just so happy to be doing something involving civil rights, because I came up doing the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 1953, and you know, when the civil rights movement in the 60s, and they integrated when I was in the 7th grade, and I ended up leaving a predominantly Black school where we were treated, you know, respectfully, and they knew your parents and all of that. And that changed. We went to the integrated school. I can talk about that because it happened.
Okay.
And so in working with her, I was just so excited that we had so much freedom. And they asked me to drive them down to Austin to see Barbara Jordan, that we could get in just and we could hear her speak. And oh, you talking about excited. So this continued on, and as Miss Lee had the vision to work with the Juneteenth, and she, along with myself, Don Williams, spearheaded the Juneteenth Museum Gallery. I worked with the women department. I worked with the financier. You know, when you're small, you do a little bit of everything. We were the cleaning up people, all of that. So in working with her, she provided a vision for us to work.
And you know what? Because also I want to say it was an honor to be able to work with her too, because I remember going over to her house on Riverside, and I think you was with. I think you was there too when she had us. This was about 20 some years ago. Had us doing some flyers for her. Yes, and I was over there, and it was an honor. But I've been knowing Overlease ever since I was in my teenager, and it's just a blessing. And a lot of people don't know that she has worked very, very hard to make this a nationwide holiday. It ain't just started 4 years ago. It ain't just started 10 years ago. She had been trying to make this a nationwide holiday for many years. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yes, she has. The walk that she started, and that's what she went even when President Obama was in office.
Yes, I remember that.
Go and talk with him.
Matter of fact, that was her actual first walk from Fort Worth to all the way across the country. That was her first major walk on a nationwide level.
Right. She I don't know if she specifically did the walk, but she did get there and present him the petition. And then she started the walk. He was still in office, but re-election came, and then President Biden. So you're right. You're right. It just seemed like President Biden was there, and thank God for his vision and willingness to hear. And I do know and believe that's because he knew and respected President Obama. And if President Obama had the votes, he would have made it a national holiday. He didn't have them. They set on him to stop anything after we were blessed with Obamacare, and people are still being blessed today. He did make a difference.
Have you
and being our first African-American president.
Right.
I'm glad to have seen that in my lifetime.
Right. Have you heard of anybody trying to stop this as a holiday? Was there a certain Republicans that say, hey, we don't want this as a holiday. We don't want to deal with this. Or this is nothing to us. Have you heard of anybody that did not want this to happen? Let's talk about it.
Well, the Republicans didn't want it to happen. That's why they said on President Obama, they were not going to let him make any more things that was going to be historic during his tenure. So the Republicans, they didn't want it to happen. So we know that that contains conservatives and the evangelicals and the skinheads.
Why do you think
that those are persons that are, that party? We remember what January 6th looked like. And who all did you see there? And they were Republican followers of DT. Okay.
You are so right about that. And speaking of that, what are your thoughts now that Trump is in all of this trouble? Do you think it's long overdue? Should he I know we going on a different we going off the topic for a minute, but the question is, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that this is long overdue? Maybe should he have been in prison?
He should have been in prison. This is very long overdue, but it's something about when you're in power, and see, not only would people, I heard Republicans say, because he voted to impeach him, and we know he was impeached twice, so this is very long overdue.
Right,
and
right.
He said he was the most vindictive person he ever had dealt with. And this was one of his fellow Republicans, because he put somebody else and backed their campaign against this person to lose. But it didn't.
I tell you what, Miss Cheryl, don't go nowhere. We're gonna talk to you some more. We gotta pay our bills. You know how that is.
Okay, yeah.
We gotta pay our bills. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk to Cheryl for a little bit more. Talk a little bit about the history, and then also we're gonna talk about the plans for the weekend and
wonderful.
We'll be right back. You're tuning in to us right here. We are News 49 TV. We'll be right back.
Louisiana is full of stories. Yours begins here, down one of Louisiana's scenic trails and byways. The native Chitimacha called this twisting and turning bayou Teche, their word for snake. It's the lifeline of the 183-mile Bayou Teche Byway in south-central Louisiana. A byway that traverses swamps, bayous, and time, revealing hidden treasures and reflections of the past. Legend has it the head of the Great Teche lies in Morgan City, where access to the waters of the Gulf mean fresh shrimp and a safe haven for the oil industry. On the north end of the byway, you'll find the culturally rich town of Arnaudville, where a centuries-old legacy is still spoken.
Bienvenue ici dans un petit coin où on parle ce bon français de la Louisiane, avec au moins 18 dialectes. Venez partager ça avec nous.
In any small town along Bayou Teche, experience the joie de vivre, that joy of life locals take for granted. Where music, enjoyed with friends and good food, is simply just expected. Some even say world class. Like Elsebeth from Denmark. She's been visiting every year since the 1980s.
It's so rich in music. There's so much music. It's not, Katy music is alive here.
Lush gardens offer a beautiful backdrop for chilling stories of haunted houses and disappearing lakes. Taste a small-town baking tradition that dates to 1884. Artifacts of the past are in order in captivating museums. Feel the heat, or learn about a time-honored process that still defies modern technology. The Teche weaves stories of...
To raise awareness of the need for social distancing and the importance of wearing face coverings to combat COVID-19, the Henry Schein Cares Foundation and the UPS Foundation launched the Wearing is Caring campaign. It funds healthcare programs in underserved communities, while Henry Schein Incorporated, a solutions company for healthcare professionals, donates masks with messages such as, "Let's face it, mask up. Superheroes wear masks. Wearing is caring, and I'm still smiling." Learn more at hscaresfoundation.org.
Hi, I'm Julie with Visit Myrtle Beach, and I'm happy to report that our COVID cases are steadily declining. This is due to the hard work and dedication of our businesses, our employees, and our locals who have been dedicated to taking all the steps they need to reduce the spread of the virus. We'd also like to thank the thousands of visitors to the Myrtle Beach area who have traveled here responsibly. Remember, when you travel, maintain safe social distancing, wear face masks in all indoor public spaces, and keep your hands clean. Yes, it is possible to enjoy a much-needed vacation and not get sick. It just takes a little extra effort and a lot of consideration. Thanks for continuing to travel responsibly, and we'll see you soon at the beach.
If you've long dreamed of being an award-winning sci-fi writer or illustrator, that may not have to be a fantasy anymore. You can enter the annual L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future or Illustrators of the Future contest. It's more than just a competition. Entrants get an intensive mentoring process that's been very successful. Collectively, past winners have published over 1,150 novels and nearly 5,000 short stories, and written and illustrated for comics, TV shows, and movies. Learn more at writersofthefuture.com.
Hey, I'm Darnell Bella. Join me Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. for the hottest local and nationwide news. If you're talking about it, you better believe we are talking about it too.
To raise awareness of the need for social distancing and the importance of wearing face coverings to combat COVID-19, the Henry Schein Cares Foundation and the UPS Foundation launched the Wearing is Caring campaign. It funds healthcare programs in underserved communities, while Henry Schein Incorporated, a solutions company for healthcare professionals, donates masks with messages such as, "Let's face it, mask up," "Superheroes wear masks," "Wearing is caring," and "I'm still smiling." Learn more at hscaresfoundation.org.
You need clean air to breathe, and so does your car. A vehicle's air filter makes that possible. Air filters are your vehicle's first line of defense against contaminants that reduce cabin air quality and negatively impact engine performance. Community car care events reveal that nearly 1 out of 5 vehicles is in need of an air filter replacement. The vehicle's engine air filter traps dirt particles that can cause damage to engine cylinders, cylinder walls, pistons, piston rings, and bearings, leading to loss of engine power. It also keeps pollutants from contaminating the airflow sensor on fuel-injected engines. Air filters should be inspected at each oil change and replaced as recommended in your owner's manual or when they're heavily contaminated. The cabin air filter cleans the air entering the passenger compartment. It helps trap pollen, bacteria, dust, and exhaust gases that may find their way into a vehicle's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC system. Airborne contaminants can compromise the interior air quality and damage the system. Most cabin air filters are accessed through a panel in the HVAC housing, which may be under the hood or inside the vehicle. A cabin air filter should not be cleaned or reinstalled. Instead, it should be replaced per the owner's manual or if an inspection reveals it's heavily contaminated. Inspect your filters and, if needed, replace them while you wait. For a free copy of the Car Care Council's Car Care Guide, visit carcare.org.
All right, you guys, we are back right here on Donnie B TV. I am your host, Darnell Ballard, and we are still talking to Miss Cheryl Ford Turner right here live on this beautiful weekend. I'm going to say weekend because we're being replayed all over the place. I want to talk to you about this because my producer is in here right now, and he just gave me this right here. Let's talk about the new museum that will be complete in 2025. I'm going to show a picture of the museum. The city of Fort Worth just gave $3 million, donated $3 million to get this museum started.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's wonderful. And, you know, ironically, you are talking to me about that, I had an opportunity to work at that site where it's going to be. And it was basically a home duplex, and it was changed into the Juneteenth Museum Gallery. Don Williams did a lot of the construction. We had programs there. We had Living Legend. We also honored outstanding women, and we had fashion shows there for Black History. So the site had already been utilized, and I'm sure you heard that they did have a fire, and so that old establishment has been torn down, and that they are preparing for the new museum, and I hear that it is going to have several different areas for different things to occur, meetings, as well as different sections that can be, I believe, rented out so persons can have businesses there. So
wow.
I just know that, and it's in the right location.
Is this going to be like a presidential type museum, the same as anywhere else?
Yes, it is. It's the
So
national.
are we looking at that the president, whoever's the president, could be coming down here to the to Fort Worth when it's built?
They should, because it's the National Museum of Juneteenth, and
Right.
Juneteenth is in Texas now. I really know that the governor should come,
Right.
and I believe our Senate and our House of Representatives that are in Texas, that someone should come, and so they have.
And we already know that Mark Vista will be there, because this is home. He's actually the one that helped make sure that June 19th was recognized as a nationwide holiday.
Yes, he did, and we know more personally, and have served with him, have campaigned with him. So it's just good to live long enough to see some dreams. Because as I said, I've been.
Openly did say on This Week on WFAA TV that she is hoping and praying that she lives to see this museum be built. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm praying and hoping she does too. I think all of us should. We do have a dream, and I think all of us would love to be living for that opportunity. But sometimes that doesn't happen, like Dr. Martin Luther King.
Right.
And many other persons who didn't get to see the first African American president in the United States.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Also, let's talk about this real quick, because we kind of running out of time. But I definitely want to talk to you a little bit about this. When this museum is built, do you think it's going to bring more revenue to the city of Fort Worth? Do you think that that's the reason that the city of Fort Worth is donating $3 million? And not only that, speaking of that, we definitely want to say that at the end of this month, we want to make sure we make this announcement. The end of this month, the Central Library will be completely gone. They're going to, I think, the end of this month, they will be closing it down. Getting prepared. Dallas Dark Base Dallas Development is getting ready to demolish and make it into another high rise. Now they're saying in the Fort Worth report, they are saying that the reason they want to do that is they want it to fit in the Fort Worth skyline. They say that they love the Fort Worth skyline. It's going to be very interesting. In the meantime, Channel 49 got a chance to talk to someone last week over at the Central Library downtown, and they are saying that they are looking for another location, but a lot of people are concerned that the homeless people is the one that's running these people out. I want to kind of touch base on that. Also, the Fort Worth Report is also reporting that the Fort Worth Independent School District is trying to come up with, I believe, $20 million to be able to do an increase for teachers to get a raise. They said teachers haven't got a raise in a long, long time. You can vouch for that because you used to work for the school district.
Yes, I did.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well,
so
my thoughts on that the Central Library, to me, I guess because there's always been a library downtown, and the accessibility from the transit systems.
Yes.
It was just a good place to be, and when they improved it and moved it, now the parking is not the best, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do this high rise parking.
Yes.
Because they are in the city of Fort Worth, and I don't know if this is what the majority of major cities are doing. They're basically going for the condominiums, for
That's what they're
persons
doing,
because
right.
those business professionals want an easy way and have access to their jobs, so they can just walk to
Right.
many of their businesses. So I'm somewhat disappointed. I did hear that they said, well, we're going to have branches for you to go to them in your community, and they have one that they will be opening in my area in Southwest Fort Worth
Okay.
in July, and I'm waiting to see what that's going to be. And
Right.
Also, Fourth ISD, the teachers really took, and the children took a very big blow with
Yes,
the
it is.
COVID-19. And that
Yes,
was
they did.
3 years. The children are still suffering. The teachers are
Yes.
suffering. The administrators. And my heart goes out to the teachers. And then the killings, the fighting,
Yeah.
all
Woo,
of this.
yeah.
And teachers are exposed to that. If you think that's not trauma,
Oh, it is.
I've
It is.
worked in there and I've saw, some fights and
And not only that,
going on some lockdowns.
and think about this, because remember, I used to work for the school district.
Yes,
too.
you did. I
Yeah, and
remember.
I started out as a school crossing guard. And I went from a school crossing guard to working as a campus monitor. So I was
Right.
see a lot of this going on in the school because I was
Right.
on the inside of it. But a lot of people don't know, man. Them teachers, they are really going through a lot.
They are. They
Teachers
are. And then they're holding you accountable for whether
Yeah.
or not students can read and pass the STAR test.
And these school teachers are taking a big hit. These school teachers, I
They
know a
are.
lot of school teachers
They
that
deserve
had
a
to
raise.
leave.
Mhm.
They had to leave the school to go to their second job because
Right.
they didn't have enough to make it. And I feel like this: if you can pay millions of dollars to these sports, to basketball, football,
Right.
why you can't pay teachers who have the most important job out there in making sure that our kids have a future? Our teachers are underpaid.
They are.
Especially right here in Texas. I can say that because the minimum wage haven't went up, and the minimum wage is still 7 something an hour. And it should have been up. Thank
It
God
should
a
have
lot of the business are paying $15 to $18 an hour, but still
Right.
what is our governor doing? What is he doing? Let's talk about that. What is he doing?
I'm just fair, unfortunately, the governor is not one that, to me, really cares, because Texas has always had a struggle with education.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
We have, and on the list at one time, we were down close to the bottom
Mhm.
of the list as far as education. And
Right.
it's unfortunate that we're in a society, like this. It's very unfortunate. And that Texans do not really, the powers to be in Texas, the governor and the Republicans, which is Republican led. We know that we are,
Mhm.
we know what state we're in.
Oh,
And,
yes.
it's unfortunate. And so I'm constantly praying about a change in how the teachers' salaries,
Yes.
teachers are rated, how principals, the things that they have, the principals' accountability. I know you remember the case where the seniors were having senior days at OD White High School,
I
and
do remember that.
they, went in and they thought they were, just enjoying, because we used to have some days when I was in school, you looked tacky, this and that. And
Mhm.
somebody in that class suggested, let's have a teacher look-alike day. And we
Right.
know what happened with that. The principal was the one that was held accountable and removed from the school.
Mhm.
I believe he did not know whether or not he was going to even have a job. But he did recently get, placed back at the school. But can you imagine going through those things, and even the young lady, where the young lady attacked her, and she, it's like, just let them do what they want to do. And we know we
Right.
can't do that. We're there to teach and to educate.
You're right about that. I definitely agree with you on that. And it's just going to get worse, and it's not going to get no better until we get out there and vote and get these people out of office. It is so important that everybody get out there and vote. Everybody think it's all about the presidential election, but it's more than about the president election, because we have local election.
Yes.
Local and state election are very important. And so
They are.
until we as a community vote, we will continue to have this type of problem in our state. What do you think?
Well, you know, they said this was the lowest voter turnout for the election that we had in May, that there has been a historical low. So people are just not willing to care, and they're willing to, I really believe that they just don't feel like that their vote makes a difference. Because, you know, we voted so hard during the Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and she won the popular vote, but he won the electoral.
Yeah.
And so I just think people are very discouraged about voting, but I am and have been for probably the past 20 years, a voter registrar, and I'm going to believe in it. I'm going to push it. I'm going to have voter registration things at the event on the South Side Soul. I'm going to have them as the best.
Let me ask you this, because do you believe that the reason people are not voting, they don't have faith in the leaders that are running? Because it could be that a lot of people are not having faith. And what do we need to do to get the people excited about voting? Just like we was excited about voting for Barack Obama. There has not been a person that people can get excited about voting for. Let's talk about that, because that's important.
That is very important. And you know what? I just got to tell you, as a thank God, a woman of God, and I do hear God, and I'm just going to, I just know that God has told us what to do, and we're not willing to do it. The gun violence, the gun laws, and we know there should be some stiffer gun laws.
Yes.
The Republicans won't do it because it's about money.
Yes.
And you got to understand now, getting elected, it's about money. It isn't about what you do, how good you do it, because in 2015, I ran for the city council, and money knocked me out.
I remember.
Yeah, money knocked me out. Someone donated to my opponent's campaign.
Yeah.
And $30,000. And when I had looked at the records, she had never spent any more than $3,000. I said, "Oh, I can do that." And my person supporting me. And when the race started getting hot, all of a sudden she had $30,000. And I mean, signs came up. Everything, robocalls, flyers that I hadn't ever saw in this fight. So money is a big factor.
Yes, it is.
I tell people all the time. Nobody's willing to spend their monies, you know, and a lot of times you have to spend a lot of your personal money if you don't have the backing. And so
let me ask you this.
When they say dirty politics, we are seeing that more than ever before. People are not excited, but I'm gonna vote anyway.
Right, me too. Let me ask you this also, because this election we just had for the local mayor and city council. What are your thoughts on the city council and the mayor that we have in office now, right here in Fort Worth? What are your thoughts?
Republicans rule, and money is power.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinion on that. And I find out that I have said this about Fort Worth. We tend to be in our community because the demographics are low, and who don't want to be successful and get, you know, those big opportunities. So you have to do the good old boy way. You do.
I definitely agree with you.
And so we tend to fold when it comes to whether or not I'm gonna get a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I'm not a folder. Hallelujah.
Let me ask you this.
Come on. I'm glad I'm not a folded. I'm free. I'm celebrating Juneteenth.
Woo,
and I'm going to continue to do that because I know who set us free.
Amen.
Thank God for and I honor him, Abraham Lincoln, but I know who set us free. And I know this isn't a religious type station, but I can't leave
that's okay.
where the Lord brought us from, because Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Fannie Mae Hamer, all those persons. And Opal Lee goes to Baker's Chapel A&M Church. And so when I met her, she understood my plight as being an African-American female serving the Lord in the Churches of God in Christ. And now thank God for a pastorship in the Forest Hill area, the Turner's Chapel Church of God in Christ of Texas, who the Lord has allowed me to be that senior pastor for the last 7 years. And so we're in the parade that will happen on the 17th. That Saturday, all roads lead to Ayers and Rosedale to line up for that that parade led by Cliff Sparks and that soul of Southside, and so many persons involved. And I know you're going to be there if the opportunity allows, because I remember.
Wait a minute, Saturday. No, Saturday. Saturday we got to be at the Gospel Wars.
Oh, see, that's well. The parade starts early. It kicks off at 11,
and we got to be there. We got to be there at 10.
Oh.
And because we got to set up the television production, because we actually going to be. Yes, if you haven't hit the news.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yes, we're going to be. I'm actually going to be hosting the red carpet live on TV.
Wonderful. I was not aware of that, but if I could be two places at once,
I know you'll be there
with you all, and then I would also be there with the Juneteenth. But my commitment with our scholarship foundation, we've committed to be there to give out free backpacks and scholarships with other things from.
Now, when is this going to be, so we can let the people know what's going on? Because we got people that's tuning into us right now. Is this going to be a weekend? It's coming up this weekend, because this whole event is going to be when?
It's going to be Saturday. We will be lining up at 8 a.m. at Ayers and Rosedale, and we will come all the way down Rosedale to Sycamore Park, and we will go in, and they will have a festival with vendors, music, performances. And so we'll be there, and I'm one of those persons that's going to be there, and everything that we will be doing, all of it is free, to show that I think I'm earmarking free. I'm earmarking free, so we will not be selling anything. We will be there. We're bringing youth from the community with us, my grandchildren, and other persons will be there, and our board will be there. And so we're going to be there. And the organizer of this is Derek Lane. He's a part of that that soul of the South Side. I hear that they're going to have also a car show, and on Father's Day. And I can say Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Yay!
Thank you. And Father's Day is this weekend coming up, ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
and also, the Cowboys of Color is going to be.
Yes, everything. We're commemorating, and this is the way God evidently allowed for it to be, for us to be able to not have to know our freedom and the struggle, because you know how the Buffalo Soldiers struggle to even get any recognition.
Don't go nowhere. We got one more break after this. We don't went over almost an hour. So he told us we go to one more break, and that'll be it. And we'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more. It's not an hour yet, but it's getting close to it. All right, y'all. We'll be right back. You're tuning in to us right here on your local station in Manhattan, New York. If you tune in to us in Atlanta, Georgia, or if you tune in to us overseas, we decided to stay on an hour. So we got, 9 more minutes after the break. We'll be right back right after this. Last break.
Louisiana is full of stories. Yours begins here, down one of Louisiana's scenic trails, and byways. The native Chitimacha called this twisting and turning bayou Teche, their word for snake. It's the lifeline of the 183-mile Bayou Teche Byway in south central Louisiana. A byway that traverses swamps, bayous, and time, revealing hidden treasures and reflections of the past. Legend has it the head of the Great Teche lies in Morgan City, where access to the waters of the Gulf mean fresh shrimp and a safe haven for the oil industry. On the north end of the byway, you'll find the culturally rich town of Arnaudville, where a centuries-old legacy is still spoken.
Bienvenue ici d'un petit coin où on parle ce bon français de la Louisiane. Avec au moins 18 dialectes, venez partager ça avec nous.
In any small town along Bayou Teche, experience the joie de vivre, that joy of life locals take for granted. Where music, enjoyed with friends and good food, is simply just expected. Some even say world class. Like Elsebeth from Denmark. She's been visiting every year since the 1980s.
It's so rich in music. There's so much music. It's not, Katy music is alive here.
Lush gardens offer a beautiful backdrop for chilling stories of haunted houses and disappearing lakes. Taste a small-town baking tradition that dates to 1884. Artifacts of the past are in order in captivating museums. Feel the heat or learn about a time-honored process that still defies modern technology. The Teche weaves stories of
To raise awareness of the need for social distancing and the importance of wearing face coverings to combat COVID-19, the Henry Schein Cares Foundation and the UPS Foundation launched the Wearing is Caring campaign. It funds healthcare programs in underserved communities, while Henry Schein Incorporated, a solutions company for healthcare professionals, donates masks with messages such as, "Let's face it, mask up. Superheroes wear masks. Wearing is caring, and I'm still smiling." Learn more at hscaresfoundation.org.
Hi, I'm Julie with Visit Myrtle Beach, and I'm happy to report that our COVID cases are steadily declining. This is due to the hard work and dedication of our businesses, our employees, and our locals who have been dedicated to taking all the steps they need to reduce the spread of the virus. We'd also like to thank the thousands of visitors to the Myrtle Beach area who have traveled here responsibly. Remember, when you travel, maintain safe social distancing, wear face masks in all indoor public spaces, and keep your hands clean. Yes, it is possible to enjoy a much-needed vacation and not get sick. It just takes a little extra effort and a lot of consideration. Thanks for continuing to travel responsibly, and we'll see you soon at the beach.
If you've long dreamed of being an award-winning sci-fi writer or illustrator, that may not have to be a fantasy anymore. You can enter the annual L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future or Illustrators of the Future contest. It's more than just a competition. Entrants get an intensive mentoring process that's been very successful. Collectively, past winners have published over 1,150 novels and nearly 5,000 short stories, and written and illustrated for comics, TV shows, and movies. Learn more at writersofthefuture.com.
Hey, I'm Donnell Bella. Join me Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. for the hottest local and nationwide news. If you're talking about it, you better believe we are talking about it too.
To raise awareness of the need for social distancing and the importance of wearing face coverings to combat COVID-19, the Henry Schein Cares Foundation and the UPS Foundation launched the Wearing is Caring campaign. It funds healthcare programs in underserved communities, while Henry Schein Incorporated, a solutions company for healthcare professionals, donates masks with messages such as, let's face it, mask up. Superheroes wear masks, wearing is caring, and I'm still smiling. Learn more at hscaresfoundation.org.
You need clean air to breathe, and so does your car. A vehicle's air filter makes that possible. Air filters are your vehicle's first line of defense against contaminants that reduce cabin air quality and negatively impact engine performance. Community car care events reveal that nearly 1 out of 5 vehicles is in need of an air filter replacement. The vehicle's engine air filter traps dirt particles that can cause damage to engine cylinders, cylinder walls, pistons, piston rings, and bearings, leading to loss of engine power. It also keeps pollutants from contaminating the airflow sensor on fuel-injected engines. Air filters should be inspected at each oil change and replaced as recommended in your owner's manual or when they're heavily contaminated. The cabin air filter cleans the air entering the passenger compartment. It helps trap pollen, bacteria, dust, and exhaust gases that may find their way into a vehicle's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC system. Airborne contaminants can compromise the interior air quality and damage the system. Most cabin air filters are accessed through a panel in the HVAC housing, which may be under the hood or inside the vehicle. A cabin air filter should not be cleaned or reinstalled. Instead, it should be replaced per the owner's manual or if an inspection reveals it's heavily contaminated. Inspect your filters and, if needed, replace them while you wait. For a free copy of the Car Care Council's Car Care Guide, visit carcare.org.
All right, you guys, we are back. This is the last, we got 7 minutes before we be getting ready to get up out of here. Oh, wow. You know what? I definitely want to thank you, Ms. Ford, for coming on the show and being with us for this hour to talk about June 19th, because we think people around the world need to know about June 19th. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm getting bugged, y'all, by this fly. But what do you think about it? What do you think about it? You know, talk to the viewers out there. Talk to them. For those who just now tuning into us about. I know we talk about the importance of June 19th, but why is it so important? Because some black folks may be looking like, okay, why should I be celebrating June 19th? I wasn't born. I wasn't even thought about it. What do you say to those people that says that?
If you don't remember your history, you will not know where you came from.
Yeah.
You will not know the struggle. You will not even appreciate the blessings that you have now.
Amen.
Because even at the age as I begin to, and a senior citizen, and as I head toward the promised years that God promised us, as I head toward that. In August, it wasn't like this. Mm-hmm. The opportunities wasn't like that. In Fort Worth, Texas, when I was growing up, the only time you could go to Forest Park was on Juneteenth. You couldn't go any other time. And now people, including African Americans, can go anytime they have the funds to attend.
Let's talk about this.
It's important to know that you have a history and that people.
Let me ask you this too, because I heard this a lot right here in our city. Is it true? Well, I know it's true, but for those who do not know about it, let's talk about this. Back in the 60s or 50s, where you couldn't drink out of the same water fountain.
Of course. Yes, I grew up doing that era. And it was Leonard Brothers. And the owner's daughter still lives in Fort Worth, Marty Leonard. She's been on the Tarrant Water Board. And and she, matter of fact, is a friend of Miss Opal Lee's. And so those were things that didn't happen in the 60s, that us as African Americans could have acquaintances like that. And and I remember going into one of the I think it was Woolworths, and we were in there, and you know, integration had happened, and we went there and we were being followed. by the security person. And one young man in our group had something in his hand. And then when we noticed them following us, I think we got fearful. And he ended up walking out the store with this toy in his hand. And when we realized it, we all went back with him. We were all willing to go to jail.
Wow.
And we said he picked it up. We just began to walk out, and we apologized, and they did not arrest us. And I was probably about 14 or 15 years old, but that happened, and I remember, oh yeah, I got to tell it. And I guess if they want to give me a ticket, I drunk out the white folks' water fountain. It didn't taste different because I sipped out of one and went to the other one. They both.
Was it that severe that they had this?
Oh yes. Yes. And see, we have to understand Texas is in the South.
Yeah.
Because right here in Waco, they hung and tarred and feathered an African American man. Even the Brodsky case, which my daughter at the time.
I remember that.
Yes. And we all came downtown, and I haven't saw a unification like that since Deborah Peoples was the person heading that, along with the pastors. And I tell you, we marched because we knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity. Yes, we did. We had the opportunity to be able to march.
You do know.
This is what Juneteenth means.
Wait a minute, you do
we
know.
We had the opportunity to march, but
you do know I'm actually one that organized it with 100.3 jams, and I got with K104 and brought them down there. And that's how we had the people from Dallas came together. And so, I was living in the housing projects then. And so what we did, I got with Russ Park and Alfreda. And it was K104. This is the first time that K104 and 100.3 jams got together. And I remember calling the major media and calling the radio station, and we all came out. So I was actually one that helped organize it.
Wonderful.
Bring people together with both radio stations. And
wonderful. And we needed that. We needed that to be aired.
I remember that back in the 90s.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See, you're a historian too. And you still doing it.
And if you look in
you've been in the business.
If you go and look in the Star Telegram back in the 90s, you'll see me actually in the front helping to lead it.
Right. Yes. I know it was many people, and I do have that.
But it took all of us to come together.
It did. It took all of us, and we were there.
Yes, we were
there. We, the African American community in Fort Worth. If we go back and look at that, and maybe you'll have an opportunity to do that at some point during,
I love to do that
time, during Black History Month, because that is historical. We need to know the struggle.
But I tell you what. We got to get ready. We're gonna cut it short on there. I'm gonna thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. We're gonna bring you back on the show in the near future to talk to us, because there's so much I want to talk to you about. And thank you for coming on, spending 1 hour with us to talk to the viewers in New York, Chicago, California, and 120 countries that's going to see this over the weekend.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm Darnell Ballard. Remember, if it is to be, it's up to you to make a difference. Have a good night.